I've earned 30 plus certifications, and I'm here to guide you to success on your exam. Welcome to the Ultimate AI-102 Exam Masterclass. Are you ready to crack the AI-102 exam in one go? You're in the right place. In this session, we'll arm you with powerful insights and hand-picked questions that can make all the difference in your exam performance. We've scanned the web using intelligent crawlers to gather the most critical and high-impact questions, all compiled into one powerful PDF resource. You can download it from the link in the description. Not only will we explore these must-practice questions, but we'll also share real exam experiences and pro tips to give you that competitive edge. Let's dive into the key questions that could shape your success. Question 1. You need to build a chatbot that meets the following requirements: supports chit-chat, knowledge base, and multilingual models. Performs sentiment analysis on user messages. Selects the best language model automatically. What should you integrate into the chatbot? A. Q&A maker, language understanding, and dispatch. B. Translator, speech, and dispatch. C. Language understanding, text analytics, and Q&A maker. D. Text analytics, translator, and dispatch. Correct answer, C. Language understanding, text analytics, and Q&A maker. Explanation. Language understanding handles intents, text analytics does sentiment analysis, and Q&A maker answers knowledge-based queries. This combination provides multilingual, knowledge, and sentiment features. Question 2. Your company wants to reduce how long it takes for employees to log receipts and expense reports. All the receipts are in English. You need to extract top-level information from the receipts, such as the vendor and the transaction total. The solution must minimize development effort. Which Azure service should you use? A. Custom Vision. B. Personalizer. C. Form Recognizer. D. Computer Vision. Correct answer, C. Form Recognizer. Explanation. Form Recognizer extracts structured data like totals and vendors from receipts. It minimizes development effort by using pre-built models. Question 3. You are developing a new sales system that will process the video and text from a public-facing website. You plan to monitor the sales system to ensure that it provides equitable results regardless of the user's location or background. Which two responsible AI principles provide guidance to meet the monitoring requirements? Each correct answer presents part of the solution. Note: each correct selection is worth 1 point. A. Transparency. B. Fairness. C. Inclusiveness. D. Reliability and safety. E. Privacy and security. Correct answer, B and C. Fairness. Inclusiveness. Explanation. Fairness ensures unbiased results, while inclusiveness ensures all user groups and backgrounds are considered. These two principles guide monitoring for equitable outcomes. Question 4. You have an Azure subscription that contains an anomaly detector resource. You deploy a Docker host server named Server 1 to the on-premises network. You need to host an instance of the anomaly detector service on Server 1. Which parameters should you include in the Docker run command? A. Fluent. B. Billing. C. HTTP proxy. D. Mounts. Correct answer, B. Billing. Explanation. When running cognitive services containers like anomaly detector, you must specify the billing parameter to link the container to your Azure subscription. This ensures proper authentication and metering of usage. Question 5. A customer uses Azure Cognitive Search. The customer plans to enable a server-side encryption and use customer-managed keys, CMK, stored in Azure. What are 3 implications of the plan change? Each correct answer presents a complete solution. Note: each correct selection is worth 1 point. A. The index size will increase. B. Query times will increase. C. A self-signed X.509 certificate is required. D. The index size will decrease. E. Query times will decrease. F. Azure Key Vault is required. Correct answer A, B, and F. The index size will increase. Query times will increase. Azure Key Vault is required. Explanation: CMK encryption increases index size and query latency slightly. Azure Key Vault is required to store the keys. Question 6. You are developing a new sales system that will process the video and text from a public-facing website. You plan to notify users that their data has been processed by the sales system. Which responsible AI principle does this help meet? A. Transparency. B. Fairness. C. Inclusiveness. D. Reliability and safety. Correct answer A. Transparency. Explanation: Transparency means informing users about how their data is processed. This builds trust and meets responsible AI requirements. Question 7. You create a web app named App1 that runs on an Azure virtual machine named VM1. VM1 is on an Azure virtual network named VNet1. You plan to create a new Azure Cognitive Search service named Service1. You need to ensure that App1 can connect directly to Service1 without routing traffic over the public internet. Solution: You deploy Service1 and a public endpoint to a new virtual network, and you configure Azure Private Link. Does this meet the goal? A. Yes. B. No. Correct answer B. No. Explanation: A public endpoint with private link in another VNet doesn't guarantee private connectivity. A private endpoint in VNet1 is required. Question 8. You create a web app named App1 that runs on an Azure virtual machine named VM1. VM1 is on an Azure virtual network named VNet1. You plan to create a new Azure Cognitive Search service named Service1. You need to ensure that App1 can connect directly to Service1 without routing traffic over the public internet. Solution: You deploy Service1 and a public endpoint, and you configure an IP firewall rule. Does this meet the goal? A. Yes. B. No. Correct answer B. No. Explanation: Firewall rules restrict access, but traffic still flows over the public internet. Private endpoint is required for secure private routing. Question 9. You create a web app named App1 that runs on an Azure virtual machine named VM1. VM1 is on an Azure virtual network named VNet1. You plan to create a new Azure Cognitive Search service named Service1. You need to ensure that App1 can connect directly to Service1 without routing traffic over the public internet. Solution: You deploy Service1 and a public endpoint, and you configure a network security group (NSG) for VNet1. Does this meet the goal? A. Yes. B. No. Correct answer B. No. Explanation: An NSG controls traffic filtering but does not provide private connectivity. You must use a private endpoint for direct secure access. Question 10. You plan to perform predictive maintenance. You collect IoT sensor data from 100 industrial machines for a year. Each machine has 50 different sensors that generate data at 1-minute intervals. In total, you have 5,000 time series datasets. You need to identify unusual values in each time series to help predict machinery failures. Which Azure service should you use? A. Anomaly detector. B. Cognitive search. C. Form recognizer. D. Custom vision. Correct answer A. Anomaly detector. Explanation: Anomaly detector identifies irregular values in time series sensor data. This is ideal for predictive maintenance scenarios. Question 11. You plan to provision a QNameMaker service in a new resource group named RG1. In RG1, you create an app service plan named AP1. Which two Azure resources are automatically created in RG1 when you provision the QNameMaker service? Each correct answer presents part of the solution. Note: each correct selection is worth 1 point. A. Language understanding. B. Azure SQL database. C. Azure storage. D. Azure cognitive search. E. Azure app service. Correct answer D and E. Azure cognitive search. Azure app service. Explanation: QNameMaker provisioning automatically creates cognitive search and app service. These resources support knowledge-based queries. Question 12. You are building a language model by using a language understanding classic service. You create a new language understanding classic resource. You need to add more contributors. What should you use? A. A conditional access policy in Azure Active Directory Azure AD. B. The access control IAM page for the authoring resources in the Azure portal. C. The access control IAM page for the prediction resources in the Azure portal. Correct answer B. The access control IAM page for the authoring resources in the Azure portal. Explanation: contributor permissions must be assigned at the authoring resource IAM page. This allows others to collaborate on the model. Question 13. You have an Azure Cognitive Search service. During the past 12 months, query volumes steadily increased. You discover that some search query requests to the Cognitive Search service are being throttled. You need to reduce the likelihood that search query requests are throttled. Solution: you migrate to a Cognitive Search service that uses a higher tier. Does this meet the goal? A. Yes. B. No. Correct answer A. Yes. Explanation: a higher tier service provides more capacity and reduces throttling. This solution meets the requirement. Question 14. You have receipts that are accessible from a URL. You need to extract data from the receipts by using Form Recognizer and the SDK. The solution must use a pre-built model. Which client and method should you use? A. The Form Recognizer client and the Start Recognize content from URI method. B. The Form Training client and the Start Recognize content from URI method. C. The Form Recognizer client and the Start Recognize receipts from URI method. D. The Form Training client and the Start Recognize receipts from URI method. Correct answer C. The Form Recognizer client and the Start Recognize receipts from URI method. Explanation: the Form Recognizer client with Start Recognize receipts from URI is designed for extracting receipt fields. It leverages pre-built receipt models. Question 15. You have a collection of 50,000 scanned documents that contain text. You plan to make the text available through Azure Cognitive Search. You need to configure an enrichment pipeline to perform optical character recognition, OCR, and text analytics. The solution must minimize costs. What should you attach to the skill set? A. A new computer vision resource. B. A free, limited enrichments, cognitive services resource. C. An Azure Machine Learning Designer pipeline. D. A new cognitive services resource that uses the S0 pricing tier. Correct answer D. A new cognitive services resource that uses the S0 pricing tier. Explanation: an S0 cognitive services resource enables OCR and text analytics. It minimizes costs compared to other options. Question 16. You have an Azure Cognitive Search service. During the past 12 months, query volumes steadily increased. You discover that some search query requests to the Cognitive Search service are being throttled. You need to reduce the likelihood that search query requests are throttled. Solution: you add indexes. Does this meet the goal? A. Yes. B. No. Correct answer B. No. Explanation: adding indexes does not reduce throttling. Replicas or higher tiers are required for query scaling. Question 17. You have an Azure Cognitive Search service. During the past 12 months, query volumes steadily increased. You discover that some search query requests to the Cognitive Search service are being throttled. You need to reduce the likelihood that search query requests are throttled. Solution: you enable Customer Managed Key (CMK) encryption. Does this meet the goal? A. Yes. B. No. Correct answer B. No. Explanation: CMK encryption provides security but does not affect throttling. It doesn't increase query capacity. Question 18. You create a web app named App1 that runs on an Azure virtual machine named VM1. VM1 is on an Azure virtual network named VNet1. You plan to create a new Azure Cognitive Search service named Service1. You need to ensure that App1 can connect directly to Service1 without routing traffic over the public internet. Solution: you deploy Service1 and a private endpoint to VNet1. Does this meet the goal? A. Yes. B. No. Correct answer A. Yes. Explanation: a private endpoint in VNet1 ensures direct connectivity without using the public internet. This meets the requirement. Question 19. You have a language understanding resource named Lu1. You build and deploy an Azure bot named Bot1 that uses Lu1. You need to ensure that Bot1 adheres to the Microsoft Responsible AI principle of inclusiveness. How should you extend Bot1? A. Implement authentication for Bot1. B. Enable active learning for Lu1. C. Host Lu1 in a container. D. Add direct line speech to Bot1. Correct answer D. Add direct line speech to Bot1. Explanation: direct line speech enables voice interaction. This makes the bot more inclusive for users with different accessibility needs. Question 20. You have an Azure Cognitive Search instance that indexes purchase orders by using Form Recognizer. You need to analyze the extracted information by using Microsoft Power BI. The solution must minimize development effort. What should you add to the indexer? A. A projection group. B. A table projection. C. A file projection. D. An object projection. Correct answer B. A table projection. Explanation: a table projection structures the output for use in Power BI. It simplifies integration for analysis. Question 21. You have an Azure Cognitive Search service. During the past 12 months, query volumes steadily increased. You discover that some search query requests to the Cognitive Search service are being throttled. You need to reduce the likelihood that search query requests are throttled. Solution: you add replicas. Does this meet the goal? A. Yes. B. No. Correct answer A. Yes. Explanation: adding replicas increases query capacity. This reduces the chance of throttling. Question 22. You have a factory that produces food products. You need to build a monitoring solution for staff compliance with personal protective equipment (PPE) requirements. The solution must meet the following requirements. Identify staff who have removed masks or safety glasses. Perform a compliance check every 15 minutes. Minimize development effort. Minimize costs. Which service should you use? A. Face. B. Computer vision. C. Azure Video Analyzer for Media, formerly Video Indexer. Correct answer A. Face. Explanation. The face service can detect whether masks or safety glasses are worn. It meets compliance monitoring needs. Question 23. You have an Azure Cognitive Search solution and a collection of blog posts that include a category field. You need to index the posts. The solution must meet the following requirements. Include the category field in the search results. Ensure that users can search for words in the category field. Ensure that users can perform drill-down filtering based on category. Which index attributes should you configure for the category field? A. Searchable, sortable, and retrievable. B. Searchable, facetable, and retrievable. C. Retrievable, filterable, and sortable. D. Retrievable, facetable, and key. Correct answer B. Searchable, facetable, and retrievable. Explanation. Searchable allows text queries, facetable enables drill-down filters, and retrievable shows the field and results. Question 24. You have an Azure IoT Hub that receives sensor data from machinery. You need to build an app that will perform the following actions. Perform anomaly detection across multiple correlated sensors. Identify the root cause of process stops. Send incident alerts. The solution must minimize development time. Which Azure service should you use? A. Azure Metrics Advisor. B. Form Recognizer. C. Azure Machine Learning. D. Anomaly Detector. Correct answer A. Azure Metrics Advisor. Explanation. Metrics Advisor provides multivariate anomaly detection and root cause analysis. It minimizes development effort. Question 25. You have an app that analyzes images by using the Computer Vision API. You need to configure the app to provide an output for users who are vision impaired. The solution must provide the output in complete sentences. Which API call should you perform? A. Read and stream async. B. Analyze images by domain in stream async. C. Tag image in stream async. D. Describe image in stream async. Correct answer D. Describe image in stream async. Explanation. Describe image in stream async generates natural sentences describing the image. This is ideal for vision-impaired accessibility. Question 26. You are building an AI solution that will use sentiment analysis results from surveys to calculate bonuses for customer service staff. You need to ensure that the solution meets the Microsoft Responsible AI principles. What should you do? A. Add a human review and approval step before making decisions that affect the staff's financial situation. B. Include the sentiment analysis results when surveys return a low confidence score. C. Use all the surveys, including surveys by customers who requested that their account be deleted and their data be removed. D. Publish the raw survey data to a central location and provide the staff with access to the location. Correct answer A. Add a human review and approval step before making decisions that affect the staff's financial situation. Explanation. Human review ensures fairness and accountability before affecting financial decisions. This aligns with responsible AI practices. Question 27. You have an Azure subscription that contains a language service resource named TAL1 and a virtual network named VNet1. You need to ensure that only resources in VNet1 can access TAL1. What should you configure? A. A network security group, an SG for VNet1. B. Azure Firewall for VNet1. C. The virtual network settings for TAL1. D. A language service container for TAL1. Correct answer, C. The virtual network settings for TAL1. Explanation. Configuring virtual network settings restricts access to only VNet1 resources. This ensures network-level security. Question 28. You are developing a monitoring system that will analyze engine sensor data, such as rotation speed, angle, temperature, and pressure. The system must generate an alert in response to atypical values. What should you include in the solution? A. Application insights in Azure Monitor. B. Metric alerts in Azure Monitor. C. Multivariate anomaly detection. D. Univariate anomaly detection. Correct answer, C. Multivariate anomaly detection. Explanation. Multivariate anomaly detection considers correlations across multiple sensor values. It identifies anomalies more accurately. Question 29. You have an app named App1 that uses an Azure Cognitive Services model to identify anomalies in a time series data stream. You need to run App1 in a location that has limited connectivity. The solution must minimize costs. What should you use to host the model? A. Azure Kubernetes Service AKS. B. Azure Container Instances. C. A Kubernetes cluster hosted in an Azure Stack Hub integrated system. D. The Docker Engine. Correct answer D. The Docker Engine. Explanation. Running with Docker Engine locally avoids cloud reliance and reduces costs. It works even in limited connectivity. Question 30. You are building a solution that will detect anomalies in sensor data from the previous 24 hours. You need to ensure that the solution scans the entire dataset at the same time for anomalies. Which type of detection should you use? A. Batch. B. Streaming. C. Change points. Correct answer A. Batch. Explanation. Batch detection analyzes the whole dataset at once. It is best for scanning 24-hour collected data. Please revise full PDF 2 to 3 times for 100% success. Check the description for the PDF download link and don't forget to subscribe to this channel for upcoming episodes.